Hello and welcome back to the final review of Star Wars Rebels. Today we're going to be reviewing last night's dual try episode. It was about an hour and a half, so we'll go with dual. A Fool's Hope was the first episode, and Family Reunion and Farewell was the second episode. This was the finale, so there will be major spoilers in this for the entire series, so definitely consider yourselves warned in all things spoilers for Star Wars Rebels, for the whole thing. This was the finale, so big implications in this. Second thing is, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this review and want to see more like it in the future. And lastly, we do have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CCinemaReviews page, so definitely check the page out. And we're also on Twitter @CCinemaReviews. So with that being said, let's get into the review. Alright, you guys, I am really happy about these two episodes. Honestly, I'm really happy about them, and there are a few things, like one or two things that I'm not quite as happy about a couple things as I am about most of the things, but it was good, you guys. It was really good. It was a great send-off. I know that in the Clone Wars, the only other animated TV show that we've had for Star Wars, we didn't really get that good of a send-off. It wasn't a complete story as far as having that good ending, whereas this, Dave Filoni and the people over at Lucasfilm did a really good job with this. The animation, as always, was really pretty. A Fool's Hope to me was fun. We had Double Cross with Ryder. He called Governor Price and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give up the rebels. I don't want to go to prison." She falls for it. She comes. Then the rebels attack them with the help of the Ghost, and they take Governor Price prisoner. And so then their plan is there's like a dome on Lothal which houses all the Imperials there. And so their plan is to use her to get into the dome, and then the dome apparently has like thrusters, so they're gonna try to send it up into the air and then blow it up, and you win the day on Lothal before Thrawn gets back. At least that's their plan. But man, you guys, this is really good. In that first episode, we got a lot of dire wolves. We stayed kind of away from the whole weird Force temple kind of stuff. We got some dire wolves. We got Imperials. We got Rook. Rook fighting everybody pretty much. Rook almost dies like 3 times in this episode. Well, twice in the first episode, and then spoiler alert, he dies in the second episode. But like in the first episode, the wolves like throw him off it seems like they throw him off the side of a cliff like twice, and it's just like I was like, nah, he's living. That's kind of a lame way to go out. So it's kind of funny to see that. I was like, nah, he's gonna live. The wolves did pretty good work on the stormtroopers. The setup in this first episode for the second episode was really good, but like as far as the finale, not only did this A Fool's Hope, the first episode of last night, not only did that set up for the season finale, but I believe and I do think that the entire series was the setup for this final episode. I do feel like the first episode was really good. I obviously liked the second episode better, but the first episode last night was really good. I felt it was really strong. It was a good opening for the season finale. It didn't have a lot of surprises. I mean, once Ryder was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give up the rebels," I was like, double cross. Ezra and Sabine did a really good job of acting like it wasn't a double cross, even though there was nobody for them to act. There was nobody for them to sell the whole double cross to. But it's what it is. The first episode was really good. everything leading up to this and this entire event last night, because to me it's an event every time I have something Star Wars. I plan my night around it. So it was really, really fun to watch this. Not as emotional as I think the most emotional I've ever been was when Kanan died a couple weeks ago. I think that was the most emotional I've ever been watching the Rebels. But this one was very feel good to me. It made me feel good. It almost, I was almost gonna riot, but we'll get into that in a bit. So let's talk about the second episode, Family Reunion and Farewell. The second episode was kind of a dual episode because it was an hour long instead of the half an hour. But this episode, you guys, this episode was really, really good. I do feel, again, like the entire series led up to this. We got Space Whales back, which we did. I didn't forget about the Space Whales, but I totally did not see them coming into this. When the Imperials were like, there was like the chatter on the radio, and the Imperials were, I've never seen these before. I was like, Space Whales? Maybe? Because the rebellion, it wasn't like they were being shot down by a bunch of rebellion ships. So I was like, what else was there? And then my mind immediately went to Space Whales right before they showed up. And I was like, hey, Space Whales. And they do some damage. They're taking out Star Destroyers. They're taking out, things. And they also try to take out Thrawn, which that was what I was going to riot for. You guys, Dave Filoni, it was in an interview, I think a year ago or something like that. He definitively said that Thrawn was going to make it out of this series alive. And I was like, yes, that means we get more Thrawn in the future. Cross your fingers, knock on wood, hope for a movie, because he's just that good of a character. Maybe probably he gets another book. We know that he gets another book. And I would just when Ezra was holding the door closed and holding the glass in the air, which I think was atmosphere. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to watch it again and see, maybe, because in the end of this, Space Whales take the Star Destroyer Chimera, that's Thrawn's Star Destroyer, and they take it into hyperspace. They just go wherever, somewhere out into space, off Lothal. All right, but in the bridge, Ezra's in there. It looks like he's holding maybe the atmosphere, in or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but the whales are also holding Thrawn there, and the windows are open. Now this is why I say that maybe Ezra was holding the air, because the windows were open, and in the very end of this episode, it implies heavily that Ezra's probably still alive, and that if Ezra's alive, then Thrawn could very much still be alive. Because Dave Filoni, don't be a liar, Thrawn's alive. To me, at least, Thrawn is still alive. Ezra, it's very implied that Ezra's still alive. So I hope that was atmosphere, but now I understand that we're gonna get a lot of people who are like, Ezra is Snoke. I've seen it. Ezra is Snoke. I don't believe that Ezra is Snoke. Snoke looks way older than 30 years old. Let's just be honest about that. And Ezra's roundabout to, a teenager at the time of the rebellion. So, whatever. But you're going to have that. Hopefully Thrawn is back. If Thrawn would have died, if they would have definitively said that Thrawn died, or they actually showed Thrawn and Ezra dying, I would have been so angry, because one, Dave Filoni would have been a liar. Two, that is my favorite character. That is my favorite villain. I like him better than Palpatine. I like him better than Vader. I like him better than Bane. Everybody else you can name. I like Thrawn better than every villain in this entire series. Better than Boba Fett. And Dave said he wasn't gonna die, so he has to still be alive, right? So, Dave, bring him back in your next series so I don't write around Skywalker Ranch. But everything else that happened in this was pretty cool. Zeb fought Rook again. Zeb killed Rook. Not directly killed him, but he got him stuck in the power generator, and so when they turned on the power generator, zap, so that was really fun. It was really cool to see those two characters fight like one-on-one, and with what Zeb did, it was kind of like a Hail Mary, because they needed to turn on the power generators, but to put the shield over Lothal, because Thrawn was just like, he was just gonna bombard the city, he was gonna blow it up, and that he did blow it up a little bit, but he was like, hey, Ezra, come to me, I'll deliver you to the Emperor, and I'm not gonna blow up the city anymore. Good. So they were trying to get the shields up so that wouldn't happen, obviously. And so that's how Rook died. So Rook didn't kill Thrawn like he does. Spoiler alert. He didn't kill Thrawn like he does in the Thrawn trilogy, the Legends trilogy, which is good for me. Again, gotta have Thrawn in something else. Gotta have Thrawn on the big screen, hopefully one day. But everything else that wasn't like Thrawn and Ezra, I liked Sabine and where she went in this, how she kind of became the leader, and at the end of it, she was like, Ezra was counting on me. Like, Ezra was counting on her not to protect Lothal after they defeated the Empire there, but he was counting on her to go and find him. They have it's kind of funny because it's almost like a coming of age movie where at the end they're like, oh, Billy went off to be this, and Timmy went off to do this when he got older. It was the same thing. It was like Sabine talking about how Hera and Rex, they both fought at the Battle of Endor, and then like they were waiting for Zeb took Kallus to his home, the new home world that they found. I think it was back in like season 2 or 3. For Zeb's species, and how they accepted him into their accepted him as one of them, and it was very hard. It was very happy. It was a very good note to end on. And then we saw Ahsoka. I thought Ahsoka would come in the finale and actually help them with the fight against Thrawn and the Empire. Didn't happen, and I'm glad it didn't happen, because again, Thrawn don't like to kill nobody. He barely killed Kanan because it was absolutely necessary, and he killed Gregor because it's Gregor. Like, we've seen him, it's Gregor. Like, okay. I thought Gregor, in some of his episodes in the Clone Wars, they heavily implied that he dies in the Clone Wars, so he was effectively already dead for me, but when he came back, I was like, oh, okay. But then when he died, I was like, oh, finally, like, Dave, just kill a character. I know he did it with Kanan and him. Couldn't kill Ezra. Ezra's somewhere out there, presumably in unknown space with Thrawn. Hopefully they're both still, well, I don't care about Ezra really being still alive. I do care about Thrawn. Don't get me wrong, I like Ezra as a character, but I like Thrawn as a character like exponentially more. So hopefully they're still alive. Sabine helped out Lothal. They thought the Empire would attack them after they defeated them, but they were too preoccupied with the rebellion. And so Ahsoka comes back. We see her old, almost like very much Obi-Wan with the big robe, like the big hooded robe on. And this time when she comes in, she's got like a cool staff, and this is after the Battle of Endor. It's pretty cool. So she's got like a staff. She looks at Sabine, and she's like, "What's up?" And you totally know that they're going out to go and try to find Ezra and hopefully Thrawn. So that's cool. The one thing I do have is like, whoa. It took her like the entirety of the rebellion, like from episode 4, 5, and 6. It took her all that time just to get off of Malachor 5. Like, what happened there? Because Ahsoka is a former Jedi Padawan. Like, at this point, at the point of the rebellion, other than Obi-Wan and Yoda, obviously, she's like the second best person. How come if she got off Malachor 5 before episode 6, then how come she didn't go to the rebellion and was like, hey, I'm a Jedi. I was a Jedi too. I could teach you some things, Luke. Like, let me learn you some things, Luke. That's one thing. So maybe she was on Malachor 5 for all that time learning from the Sith Temple. But she did look like an old wizard. I don't want to call her a witch, but I guess they're good witches, right? She did look like she was, older. She had a staff, which was really cool. It wasn't like just a stick though. It was like a staff. It looked pretty cool. And they're going off to find Ezra. Now, Dave Filoni, for his next thing, I don't know what that's going to be, but I hope it's something with Ezra and Thrawn, because Thrawn is too good of a character to just throw away. Bringing this review to a close, and for the final time for Star Wars Rebels, I am super happy with what they did throughout the entirety of Star Wars Rebels. Yes, there were a lot of throwaway episodes and filler episodes. I understand that. The Singing Droids episodes from last season, the Singing Droid episode was like literally the lowest point of Rebels, but it had some amazing high points, like Kanan's, I think it was Jedi Knight. That was the episode 2 weeks ago. And this finale was really, really solid. It doesn't answer all the questions as far as, hey, where's Ezra? Where's Thrawn during the time of the rebellion? They're off, they're off somewhere with the space whales. It doesn't answer where Ahsoka was during all that time, where Sabine was. It does answer where Hera and Rex were. Zeb and Callus, they go off to live in their places. So it answers a lot of our questions. It leaves some open, and that's good because, sometimes they don't know the entire story at one time. They got to build onto it and learn as they go and find out what's next, and that was really cool. I think that the entire series was really, really fun. I do think that in the future, when they do like a half an hour show, instead of making it 22 episodes a season and having one episode for every week, I do think they should stick with the dual episodes, or even an hour a week, because like you look at this last season, season 4, everything was an hour, I think, except for the mid-season finale. I think was the only one that was just one episode. That was a half an hour episode by itself without the second episode. But everything in this season really flowed well together with the dual episodes, one for setup, one for payoff. And so I really enjoyed this season. I think a lot better than the previous seasons, because I didn't, it wasn't 20 plus episodes a season. So like, it didn't take extremely long to get through the entire season. It was really quick. It was to the point, and it had more impact than any of the previous seasons. I believe in my, with that's what I believe, because I feel like having an hour long and making it less time. Like when you have like 20, let's just say 20 episodes. When you have 20 episodes, you're going to spend maybe 18 weeks, because the mid-season finale is dual episode and then the season finale is dual episode. So you're spending like 18 weeks watching one season, whereas with this one we spent it was 16 episodes, 15 episodes, dual episodes. We only spent 7 weeks. So we got the same amount of story and the same amount of Rebels as we got previously. We got the same amount. It was just in a shorter amount of time, so everything stayed with you a little bit better. Everything hit a little bit harder when characters died. And so, yeah, I think that in the future they should do it like this last season with the dual episodes or hour-long episodes. I think it would flow a little bit better, and you don't have to spread out, and you don't have to maybe throw in some filler episodes every now and then. The one thing that I do love that they brought back from the entire series was the space whales. When I saw that episode way back, I think it was like season 2. When I saw that episode, I was like, Okay, filler episode. They brought him back, and it wasn't filler. Like, it definitely makes sense. I liked where every character ended off in this series, especially Thrawn. Please be alive, Thrawn. Don't die on me. Don't make Dave a liar. Like, Lucasfilm, bring him back, please. But yeah, I thought these last two episodes were really, really good. I tend to think that the Jedi Knight and Doom episodes 2 weeks ago were my favorite of the season, but hey, these can be a close second, and that's not knocking these two episodes at all. Thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I want to hear your thoughts about these two episodes and this entire series. And what do you think about the characters? What do you think about Thrawn and Ezra being out there? Trust me, Ezra's not Snoke. Snoke is not Ezra. Don't worry about that. Just tell me your thoughts either in the comment section down below or on our Facebook page or on Twitter. Thank you for watching this review, and may the Force be with you.